Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady with my co-host JC.
Hey there.
Hey JC, welcome back. Hey, we're talking about consent, and we want to bring back Erica Scott here to talk to us about education that really does affect change, because consent is a learned behavior. So with that said, hey Erica, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. So give us and our listeners some ideas of, whether it's with the youth or with professionals in the workplace, workshops that you have done or that you've attended and that you've actually were able to track and see change in that location, whether it's a workshop or again, a children's school.
Thanks. Yeah, well, one of the most important things I feel I teach is how to hear no graciously. And actually, what I teach is people to do is to thank people when they say no to them, which is really different, right? So one thing we're doing when teaching these consent skills is we're unlearning things we've learned, and we're learning new skills. So, it's not normal to thank people when they say no to you, right? I mean, you might say something like, oh, that's cool or whatever. But I actually teach people to say, hey, thanks for letting me know what you don't want. Your boundaries are important to me. I want to know what you want and don't want. Or, hey, thanks for letting me know that you don't want to do that, because I don't want to do something if you don't want to do it. When you do that, you're letting that person know that it's safe for them to express their boundaries around you. You're building relationship. You're actually creating intimacy. They're going to now feel safer with you. I've had a friend who's a businesswoman who told me that when she started using that tool, that it really improved her experience. She pitches a lot of things, and she often has to hear no. And when she started thanking people when they told her no, they couldn't, use her this time or whatever, she found that people were pleasantly surprised that it led to actually some positive things. And that's what you'll find. And I challenge every one of your listeners to go home today and look for an opportunity to thank someone for saying no to you, and watch their mind explode, because used to having that happen. Most people are cringe when they have to say no because they're worried what's going to happen next. And when you let them know that you're a safe place to say no, it creates ease and comfort.
Yeah, it really does. Feel comfort and safety. Go ahead, JC.
Would you like some statistics right now, Wendy?
I would love some.
I was waiting for you to say no. This was practical application, Wendy Sellers.
We'll work on that.
All right. Well, since she said yes, according to Harvard Business Review, teams with high psychological safety generate 50% more innovative ideas. This can actually lead to a 20% increase in patented solutions, or a 15% reduction in time to market for new products. Ultimately, psychological safety is a shared belief that a team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. Back to you.
Yeah, that's so important. I have another stat that I wanted to just talk about real quick, which was from the Seattle Times. I'm not 100% sure where all the information really came from, but they have an article in there about consent, and most of it is about youth. But this one is saying when people who were polled learned about consent, and that it was 12 or younger, 21.2% learned about consent. 13 to 18 years old, 32.8% learned about consent in that time period. And then as an adult was the highest number, which was almost 40% didn't learn about consent until they were an adult. So it's super important to not assume because somebody's been in the workplace for 2 years, 2 months, 20 years, that they're able to speak up for themselves. I mean, we could talk about personality styles and generational traits. We could talk about all that till we're blue in the face. But rather than assume because somebody is bossy like myself that we're okay with telling people no. Myself, when I tell people no, I want to give them a reason behind it because I want to educate them as well.
I've also read a study in Canada that said that one of the biggest, if not the biggest complaint of employers of new employees is that they didn't have the interpersonal skills they needed to get by in the workforce, that there was a lack of emotional or relational intelligence to handle interactions in the workforce. So yeah, it's can be very helpful.
Yeah, it all kind of flows together as a business owner or an owner representative, HR manager, whatever your position is that you're listening to today. Psychological safety is incredibly important, and I believe JC might even have more information on that for us.
Yeah, I do actually. While it is a learned trait, teams with high psychological safety are more likely to take risks at the end of the day and learn from their mistakes. And this learning behavior, it can ultimately lead to improved team performance overall. 76% more engagement, 50% more productivity, and believe it or not, 74% less stress when you feel psychologically safe. So with that being said, no, I don't have anything more past that.
I was just going to say, less stress, sign me up.
Yeah, and I really
100%. Well, we're going to wrap up this session of episode 3 of our 5-part series on creating a consent culture. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.